everyone. Welcome to Rising One Coaching. I'm Allison and I'm actually in my frame shop. I have been thinking about making this video all week. I felt led and called to it earlier in the week, and it's been crazy. It's been busy. I haven't had a lot of time to put aside, and I finally had some moments before I left at the end of the day today. It's a little after 6 o'clock on Thursday, and it's nice and quiet. You might hear the heat going in the background, but it's nice and quiet here. And I really felt called to make this video now, because we all have so much going on right now, don't we? Not only do we have a lot going on in our personal lives, as if that isn't enough to manage and handle and juggle, but we have a lot nationally that is going on. And it's also affecting things internationally. So we're really taking in and consuming so many emotions, so much information, and we can feel drained, exhausted, enraged, frustrated, angry, stressed out, overwhelmed, and depleted. I personally have been feeling physically exhausted. I feel like I can take a nap at the drop of a hat most days. Part of that is my body changing as I'm in my early 50s, and I recognize that. But I really wanted to just sit down and share with you just some basics and reminders. It's really it's made a difference and an impact in my life, and they're just the simple things, the really simple things that have really helped me show up for myself, help me to feel better in my body, because a lot of us are not feeling really good in our bodies right now. And you know, the thing is, everything is energy, and there's a lot of negative energy going around right now. Focusing on what is going well in your life. What is going well? I'm pretty sure that there are things happening within your life and the people around you that are loving. They are showing up for one another. They are supporting one another. I've seen so many beautiful things, especially over the last couple of weeks, amidst all the chaos and the confusion. There have been acts of service. There have been neighbors showing up for one another, communities rallying together, and it's incredible. And focusing more and more on the things that we can do, and not putting our time and energy into the things we can't do. That's when we tend to feel the hopelessness. That's when we tend to feel the despair. And like, this is never going to change. It's always going to be this way. So let's talk about things we can do to take care of ourselves and create empowerment, create more love and joy in our lives when we're not necessarily seeing it in the outside world. We do have power of choice. We do have some control over our own emotions, how we feel, being honest with ourselves about those feelings, and then really refocusing and turning it into aligned, empowered action. So, one of the biggest things that I think really helps me in my own life is drinking water. I love water, so it's not an issue for me. I usually drink about 3 of these a day, especially in the summer. I drink even more. But water is critical. It's critical for brain function, our organ function, our waste elimination. Our body needs it, and it's really important to pay attention to making sure we're getting enough hydration in our day. So one rule of thumb that you can do to really kind of bring some more awareness to whether or not you're getting enough water is to take your body weight, divide it in half, and then convert it into ounces. So for my body weight, I need to drink about 3 of these a day. I think this is about 24 or 25 ounces. So yeah, that's about right. And I love it. I also drink coffee in the morning, but I'm drinking half calf instead of full caffeinated. So I noticed as I've gotten older, caffeine starts to affect me more. So I've lessened that a little bit more. I drink herbal teas. Also, lemon ginger is my favorite. Drinking herbal tea during the day is really great too. So really making sure that you are taking care of your body by getting water is critical. And I know this is probably, some of this is going to sound redundant. You're like, yeah, we know, blah, blah, blah. But nourishing your body with more healthy foods than not healthy foods is really important as well. So even if it's just one daily change that you make, instead of having that soda, have a water. Instead of having that quick fix sugar rush donut or candy bar, have an apple or a clementine. My kids love clementines. Yes, it does have sugar, but it's more of a natural sugar, and you're getting the fiber along with it. So you're really, it's processing in your body better than a candy bar would. But one of the biggest things is sleep. And I've struggled with this myself. Again, I'm in a phase of my life where my body's changing and I'm having hot flashes and I wake up in the middle of the night and I need a lot of rest. I'm noticing that rest is so critical for me right now. And when my body tells me I need it, I listen as often as I can. I go to bed usually between 8:30 and 9 o'clock now. I used to laugh at people who did that when I was younger. Well, now that's me. I can't wait to go to bed at night. I love going to bed. And one thing that I think would be so helpful, just as a reminder, put your phone or device down 30 minutes to an hour before you go to bed. I do use my phone to listen to light, gentle music when I'm sleeping. I love listening to rain or thunderstorm music. I love listening to Native American music. I listen to like Armenian dudek music, and excuse me if I'm saying this incorrectly. I listen to meditation, calm frequency music at night. So many different great things that you can access to help you wind down, calm your brain a little bit better before you go to bed at night. I find that so helpful, and really avoiding, I know this is hard because we're all kind of addicted to it to some degree or another. Avoid as much as possible the doom scrolling before you go to bed. Really pay attention to what you're nourishing your mind with, especially before you go to sleep. It really makes a difference in how you fall into that sleep state and how you sleep through the night. And it might take a few days or more of starting this new habit or process or practice before you actually start noticing some changes. But you really should start noticing some differences if you start creating a sacred evening, nighttime before bed ritual. Take a shower, take a warm bath before you go to bed. That is always helpful to really wind your body down and calm it. Maybe you like really calming scents like essential oils. They do have really lovely essential oil sprays you can put on your pillow. That can be another sensory way of really calming yourself down before you go to bed. Sometimes I do meditation before I go to bed, but then I end up falling asleep during the meditation. So I don't always do that, but maybe that's something that would be helpful for you. I always meditate in the morning when I first wake up, but doing it at night, I usually end up falling asleep, which that could be really helpful. So, instead of picking up your phone to see the latest news or, get addicted to that thread, read a book, go back to the basics, read a book. If you're an artist, and maybe you don't get a lot of time during your day to draw or doodle, take that time to just draw some sketches, draw out how you're feeling. A lot of my friends, and this is something I'm getting more and more into, is journaling. If you have a lot going on in that hamster wheel mind, like a lot of us do a brain dump before you go to bed. Just write out all the things that you're thinking about. It could just be a bunch of words, ideas, phrases, whatever comes to mind. That is a great way to take it from here, release it, and let it out physically, tangibly through the act of writing. And that can really help you to just let it go, Do a couple of deep exhales. Breathe in super deep. Do like 3 and just do that 3 times and really just physically release that energy out of your body before you go to bed. Maybe do some gentle shaking. Just shake it out. It gets that energy out that's been trapped and sitting inside of you all day. It's a great way to just release it. So those are some really good, I know a lot of people struggle with sleep, and those could be helpful practices to try incorporating. And like I said, it might take several days before you really start seeing the benefits, but I promise, even adding 1, 2, or 3 of those things into your evening, like really be aware of what you're doing and see how you can shift and change that to sleep better. I'm able to show up in my day so much better when I get really good sleep. I'm an earlier morning person. I didn't used to be that way, but now I am. And I love my mornings. I cherish them. And I really use them to set my day. So let's talk about that for a minute. Your morning. Some of us have to start early. We've got kids, or you've got an early job you have to get to, and I totally understand that. And that's why doing an evening routine can really set you up right for your morning. If you do have some flexibility, like I said before, try a little 10-minute meditation, or a really great one instead of a meditation. If you're not really comfortable, you're like, it's hard for me to stop. There are fantastic morning affirmation videos that you can listen to, and you can just put in your earbuds if you have them, your AirPods, headphones, whatever you use, and close your eyes. Usually try to do this before you get out of bed, when you're still in that sleepy, half asleep, half awake stage. That's really when you can set your subconscious mind ready for your day. And those affirmations, you just come out of it feeling better. It's a great way to start your day. So I highly, highly encourage you to just look at some of your daily routines and take a step back and say, okay, I'm feeling this, fill in the blank. What is it that you can do that's within your control, within your power of choice to change so that you feel better? I'm not saying that this is going to shift and change everything. There's a lot going on. We're taking in a lot. But the more we can show up for ourselves, the more we can show up for the others in our lives that we love and care for. Think about it. If you're feeling depleted and tired, you're more likely to get triggered easily, to lash back, to get frustrated more quickly. I we've all been there. Like I almost say these things as reminders to myself as well. These are self-checks for me as well. So we're all in this together. So, really doing the best that you can to have the tools, taking care of yourself, to really deal with some of these stressful things when they come on. Breathing, a really great way to breathe, to bring in more calm. I like to put one hand on my chest and one on my belly, and you breathe in for 4, hold for 4, and then exhale for 6. Do that 3 to 5 times, and I guarantee you will feel at least a little bit better at the last exhale than you did at your first breath. Some aligned, inspired action you can take. So I'm a creative. I love to create stuff. And right now I have been really excited about creating workshops that I'm going to be hosting this year. And I have a current one that I'm hosting. So it's really important for me as a facilitator and a guide to take care of myself, because my energy sets the tone for the workshops. How I show up really sets the tone for everybody else in the room. So your energy is critical, really noticing what are you focusing on. And yes, it's important. It's so important to stay on top of what's happening, but also recognizing some things are within our control and some things are not. So what are things that you can do that are within your control, within your power of choice, to take that inspired action and really paying attention to your energy. And I believe that the more we focus on love, care, the more we focus on compassion for those around us that need our help, the more we're putting good into the world. And the more of us that are focusing on that energy and focusing less on the crap. I'd like to use other words, but I'm very careful with what I say. The heavy, dense energy. When we are, it's normal. It is so normal to feel the rage, to feel the anger, to feel the frustration, to feel the anxiety. We all feel it. But here's the difference. Staying in that space is feeding that energy. Feel it, use the tools, talk to a friend, talk to a loved one, someone you trust, talk to a therapist if you're seeing a therapist. Creating artwork, journaling, like we talked before, are ways to process, exercise, get movement, move that energy out of your body. These are some really important things that can really help when you're feeling that, because staying stuck in that negative, dense energy, it's just feeding into it. And that is what that energy wants. It wants us to stay in that loop. So it's really, you have to be very conscious and aware of breaking that cycle. And I know it's hard. I get it. I get it. I've been there. I understand how hard this can be. But the more people we have helping their neighbors, showing up for their loved ones, taking care of your body, digging into your creativity if you can, whatever that might look like. You might be on stage. You might be a dancer. You might love to cook. Maybe host a dinner party for your best friends and family and pour that love into the food that you're cooking for them. there's so many beautiful ways. I've heard stories of people with this big snowstorm we just had, helping their neighbors, shoveling their driveways, neighbors who have health issues or they're elderly. Beautiful ways to show up for people. Maybe there's a stay-at-home mom that you know of and you have extra free time, or like a single mom, and maybe you offer to babysit her kid or her children so she can have a night out with her friends or by herself. She could take herself out on a date. There's just it's endless. We don't always have to do the big grand gestures to be able to put that loving energy out into the world. Sometimes it's the simplest things. Every act of love has a ripple effect in the world. Every single act of love has a ripple effect. It is all noticed and it is all felt collectively. So the more we can show up and pour our love into our communities, donate to the charities that matter most to you. Again, I'm a creative, so I have created some products that I'm going to be selling, and I'm so close to launching them. I'm just waiting for one of them to show up. And I've collaborated with my coworker, Peter Thomas of Editions Printing. He does printing, and I've created a special logo, and he printed them on mugs that I'm going to be selling. And part of the money from the sale of those mugs is going to go to the Rochester Rapid Response Network. And that's part of how I'm going to be giving back to the community in a way that is aligned with me as a creative. I've also taken that logo and I had it printed on a t-shirt. I'm waiting for the t-shirt to arrive so I can see how it looks. And once I approve the quality and everything, that's going to be for sale. And again, this month of February, I'm donating some of the money towards the Rochester Rapid Response Network, because that's one way that I can give back into our community and help fight what is happening right now. So, it doesn't always have to have the political aspect. Showing up at the local food bank, volunteering at your church or place of worship. You could, another thing I love to do, this is a great one, and I can share more information about this. Pretty soon, I'm going to be putting together more blessing bags to hand out. We have a lot of homeless people in Rochester, and the blessing bags are in Ziploc baggies, and they have a clean, brand new pair of socks. They have a packet of tissues. I include some protein bars and snacks. Sometimes I put in a packet of gum. What else? I put in a bottle of water. So these are things that I can hand out while I'm at the stoplight and give blessings to these folks, and put some goodness out into the world. So there's so many things we can do. You can Google, you can search and come up with a million different ideas. And I always find when I'm trapped in those heavy, dense emotions, yes, I sit in them for a while. I do. It's just part of being human. But as soon as I get up and I start doing something, getting out of the house, talking to people, acts of service are a great way to get us out of our own way. They help to shift our perspective a little bit. They help you to start looking at the things you are grateful for in your life. So, that's another one, really looking at your life and noticing, what am I grateful for? What is going well? What is going well in my life right now? There's always going to be something. There will always be at least one thing that is going well. And it can be the smallest thing, but it's something. Focusing your energy more on that. If you do want to get politically involved, call your local representatives and see about volunteering speak up, go to some of the protests if you feel like it's safe and comfortable. I know safety is a huge issue right now, but there are so many things that we can do when we get up, we get some movement, we move around, start thinking outside of the box. What are my gifts and talents that I can share with the world to pour more love and more compassion and more caring energy into my community and into the people around me? So I hope this video has been helpful. I didn't want to get up here and preach at you, but I did feel called and led to just have the conversation. There is so much that is swirling around us, and sometimes if you just stop, put your hand on your heart. It's my favorite thing to do. Feel that beating heart. That heart is always beating for you. It is steady. And just take some deep breaths. Close your eyes. Get grounded. And I promise you, it will start to feel a little bit better. It will start to calm some of the chaos and bring us back to our center. Another thing you can do that some people do, some people choose not to, and that's fine, whatever works for you. Pray. Prayer can be an amazing way to send loving energy into the community. And one of the things I have been doing a lot lately, instead of focusing on all of the things that are going wrong, all of the things that are difficult to process, all the things that are bad in our minds, all the negativity, usually in my life, one of the things I pray is I pray for the best outcome for everyone involved. That's helped me in my personal life. And I take time to visualize. I put my hand on my heart and I picture my heart I love to picture it like a lotus flower. And that lotus flower, it just starts blooming and opening. And as it does that, it starts glowing and radiating and shining. It's beautiful energy. We all have it inside of us. It's beautiful. And I picture sending that out into my neighborhood. And then I picture that beautiful golden energy moving throughout Rochester, the whole city. And then I start picturing it moving throughout the whole state of New York. And then I picture it moving throughout the whole country. And then I send it out into the universe. And that is one way. Instead of focusing on the negative energy, we focus on the power of love that we have within us, and we can send that out. So, I hope this has been helpful. If you have any questions, I would love to hear what are some of the things that you're doing to help process, deal, and move through these challenging circumstances that we're in right now. There are no perfect answers. There are no perfect practices. Life is not linear. Life is a constant. I tell everybody, I've been saying it a lot lately. I said, I'm a wave rider. I am literally just riding the waves, but the more we ride with them, the less we resist it, the more we ride, the more insight you will gain, the more clarity you will gain, and you will start to really open up and see what you can do, how you can use your love, your compassion, your special, unique gifts. We need everybody to show up with their amazing gifts and talents. How can you use that to make a difference? I would love to hear your ideas. I would love to hear what you're doing. It's so important that we all show up in some way, big or small. It does make a difference. So thank you so much if you stayed till the end, thank you so much for listening. I send love to all of you, and I wish you the best morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are. Blessings.